Good morning, this is Josh. How are you? How's everybody doing? I have seen a motion picture, and I saw this one a few days ago, and I've sat with it. And the interesting thing is, oftentimes I want to get my thoughts out right away, and sometimes I just want to get the video out right away to get on, the zeitgeist of a big release. This movie's got a lot of buzz, but for whatever reason, I had to sit on it for a few days. And it's interesting that I did because my thoughts have kind of evolved a little bit. Since I saw it a few days ago. The movie is Strange Darling. It is an independent thriller, serial killer genre movie, kind of cat and mouse kind of a story. And not unlike Longlegs, it is, a small movie that's probably missing a lot of people's notice. It doesn't have the viral marketing that Longlegs did, unfortunately. But it's also generating a somewhat divisive discourse. And so, this has been a great year for little weird indie movies. It's been fantastic. As my daughter always points out, they all seem to be about murderers and monsters and things. And that's true. There's a lot of genre stuff this year that happens to be dark and horror-ish. This is more of a thriller. But here's the thing about this movie. If I'd reviewed it the night that I saw it, I would have said, not unlike Longlegs, excellent filmmaking. Filmmaking that is going to live in my brain for a while, but I'm not so sure about the story. And then sitting with it and hearing a lot of people talk about it on very positive and very negative wavelengths, I have thought, I've come to more of a personal consensus. But here's the thing about this movie. This is a movie that is, even just saying this is spoilery. I'm not going to spoil anything specific in this video because this movie doesn't deserve it. It's really good, and if you like this kind of stuff, and if an R-rated serial killer, cat and mouse thriller sounds good to you, see it. And let me know what you thought of it, and then we can talk about this stuff. But even just saying there's a spoiler or saying there's a twist is already putting you in a mindset where it's best if you go in blind on a movie like this. So we're 2 minutes in. That's my recommendation, with some caveats that I can't really get too specific about for the movie Strange Darling. I'm going to talk about it now, and I will not spoil anything specific, but I'm going to have to at least get close to the idea that there is something to spoil, and even that feels like, ugh. So if you like movies and you think you might catch this one, it's popping a little bit. It doesn't have that viral word of mouth thing that Longlegs did, but maybe this is it. Maybe this is part of it happening for Strange Darling. So, you've been warned. I will not spoil the plot, but I will spoil abstract things about the plot, which I'm glad I didn't know going into the movie. Okay, this is a film directed by J.T. Molnar, starring Kyle Gallner and Willa Fitzgerald. She is simply referred to as the lady, and he's referred to as the demon. These are trailer things. There's a dynamic that is presented to you in the trailer. That this is a innocent person fleeing from a demented killer. And then things happen. So here's the thing about this movie. This is a movie that announces itself in a way that frankly is off-putting to me. I'm telling you, I land pretty positively on this movie, but and people are comparing this movie to Pulp Fiction for reasons that I will describe in a moment. But to me, the difference is that Pulp Fiction, QT had a swagger and kind of like a self-aware thing, but he doesn't literally tell you how cool the movie is at the beginning. And this is a movie that opens before, again, I saw a movie last week that had a trigger warning. Blink Twice has a trigger warning before the MGM logo. This movie has a big placard at the very start that says, shot entirely on 35mm film, which is cool. And it looks fantastic, and wait until you hear who photographed it. But don't tell me that. That's the thing that general audiences don't care about. And people like me, I already knew that going into it, and I could tell by looking at it. It looks fantastic. It's wonderful to see a movie shot on film that feels like it was shot on film with grain and bloom and all the. It's a treat for people who miss movies shot that way. But don't tell me it. So this is how the movie begins. This is shot on 35mm. We're cool. And then it says, it has that has the title, and it says a thriller in 6 chapters. Okay, a little pretentious, and that's been done a lot. And then it says chapter 3. So you're starting, media res. You're starting in the middle of the story, and it's all out of order. I'm here to tell you. Well, I'll tell you in a second how those things pay off. But if you're starting your movie by telling me we're cool for the way we shot this movie and we're cool for the way that we arranged this movie, already I'm not having a storytelling experience. I'm having a meta cinema experience. You're already like telling me how cool, instead of letting me discover how cool your movie is, you're telling me right up front that you're going to knock my socks off. And so then you better deliver. And so I guess it's in the movie's favor that it mostly does. Some people are talking about it like it's, as going to be as revolutionary and influential as Pulp Fiction, and others are kind of like criticizing it for certain thematic elements. And I'm not going to get into too much of it. So all I'm going to say is, it's really well done. It is shot by the actor Giovanni Ribisi, of all people. He's a producer and he's a cinematographer. He's shot a couple of music videos, I think, and now he shot this movie beautifully. Excellent work. It's really, really good. What is also really, really good are the performances by Kyle Gallner and especially Willa Fitzgerald. Again, I can't spoil anything. All I'm going to say is that the storytelling out of order presents you with things that feel like familiar dynamics and tropes and roles, and then subverts them with each out of order chapter. And for the most part, it works phenomenally. It really works. It's really good. There's so many movies swinging for big twists now. And yes, there is a twist at the heart of this movie, but it's a twist that's revealed in the middle. It's one of those. So it has to be strong. And it is. In my opinion, what follows after, and I pat myself on the back that I called the twist a chapter before it was revealed, but that's okay. I watch a lot of movies and I kind of got a little sense that we were going in that direction. That I didn't ruin it for me. I felt great about myself, and I really thought that they pulled it off in the writing, filmmaking, and especially the performances in this movie. What they do with the story after the twist has been revealed, the performances continue to be strong. Willa Fitzgerald is incredible in this movie. This should make her a acting star and a legend. I don't know that the movie knows what to do once it's spent all of its twist currency. It's still good, but it becomes less interesting as it goes on. It finishes pretty strongly, but yeah, I don't want to say much more than that. I don't want to say much more because I don't want to, Ed Begley Jr. and Barbara Hershey are also in this movie as kindly old people who welcome people that they think are imperiled, people who need help, into their house. And that sequence I liked. So the Pulp Fiction comparison, there is kind of like a gleeful, like cinematic, like I don't know, like playfulness to this movie. There's a little bit of humor and then there's a lot of grisliness. But I mean, Pulp Fiction's 1994, so and so the asynchronous storytelling and the twisty stuff and I don't think it's fair, or I don't think any movie should really want to be compared to Pulp Fiction at this point. I see what they're saying, but it's not always a flattering comparison. So I think this movie should be compared to itself. And the more I sit with it, the less problems, the fewer problems I have with where the story goes, and that kind of like the swagger of the movie telling you how cool it's going to be. And the more I'm impressed with how it was written, structured, and then those incredible performances. I'm not going to say anymore. This movie is really good. You should see it in the movies while you can. Don't learn much more about it. Just go and see it. It's a cool movie, and I'd love to know what you think. That's going to do it for me. I will be back soon with more stuff. Thank you so much for watching. You can support me in all the places with all the buttons and all the clicks and all the pledges and all those things. Patreon, YouTube, and all that. Thank you so much for your time. I'll talk to you again soon. Josh out.